Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight here on my YouTube channel. I'm so glad to have you along. I'm actually making this video tonight in response to a question that was asked on a social media site that I subscribe to called Quora, Quora.com. I've been on that website now for a few years, and I've met some wonderful people there. As a matter of fact, some of my followers may be watching this. You might be watching this as a result of me answering the question on Quora dealing with the guitar. The actual question that was asked of me was, what was the first song, riff, or solo you learned how to play on the guitar? Well, a question like that, you really can't just talk about it. It really deserves a musical demonstration. So I have my guitar tonight, my old trusty Gibson gospel guitar, and I want to see if I can answer that question by playing out a couple of riffs on the guitar that I learned at a very young age, really some of the first riffs that I ever was able to do on the guitar. I was blessed to grow up in a very musical family. My deceased father was a great guitar player, an accomplished guitar player. Dad could pick guitar, mandolin, banjo. If it had strings, my father could play it. And so I'd like to think I inherited a lot of that from him, although I never quite had his genius. But I grew up playing in church a lot, and in my late teens, 18, 19, some guys and I formed a couple of garage bands, and we played some parties and even played some bars around my hometown in Dayton, Ohio. But I found out that just really wasn't my scene. It wasn't something I really wanted to do. In my early 20s, I was called into the gospel ministry, started preaching the gospel. And so from then on, really devoted my guitar playing to playing in church. And so it's been a great experience down through the years to do that. But in regards to the initial question, first song riffs or solos I've learned how to play on the guitar. To play the guitar, everybody watching as a guitar player, you first have to master the chords themselves. And so first you master the basic chord progressions. Typically ones we learn first are G, C, and D. And you learn those basic guitar progressions, and you really master those with some degree of proficiency. And from there you go to usually E, A, and D. And that you can do a lot of songs, but you have to be able to master those with some degree of proficiency. As for the first riff I really learned on the guitar, it was actually a bluegrass riff. It's very common. You hear it a lot in bluegrass guitar. You come off of a G, a C, a D, and then you do this. Easy, right? I remember when I mastered that as a very young man. I might have been 12 or 13. I kind of got the hang at it. I learned from my dad. What a cool, it's in tons, dozens, maybe hundreds of bluegrass songs. Very common. And so in my guitar picking friends watching this will go, oh yeah, I've heard that, or I can play it, and very common. I remember also one of the first riffs I ever learned was, I had a lot of country influence growing up, rock and roll influence too, but the country influence, I learned the song Wildwood Flower. When I was growing up, you really couldn't play the guitar until you could play a Wildwood Flower. It was so pretty. So once I got that, I thought, wow, that was just so pretty. You can play that song in a lot of different keys. It's very pretty. As for other guitar riffs, I remember I was, 13 years old or so, 12 or 13. I was in my room one day. Might have been summer. I remember the windows were open. It was a nice day, and I'd been plunking around the guitar. And I did this. This is a kind of a basic E chord, but you just got the top strings there. Well, that sounds familiar, and it should, because it uses so many rock and roll songs. Then there you drop up to the A, or down to the A, and back down to the E. I remember thinking, wow, this is cool. You drop up to that B, slide up to the B again. And at that point, you have created a monster, because that little riff right there, that little chord progression, is the basis of countless rock and roll numbers, blues tunes, boogie woogie numbers, and I mean, it's just so common. It's the basis of all kinds of them. And speaking of which, that may sound familiar if you're a Bruce Springsteen fan. That's the beginnings of the Bruce Springsteen tune, Glory Days. And if you're a Led Zeppelin fan, song, Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin. And the list goes on and on and on of all the great songs that you can do with those riffs. And those were really the first riffs I ever learned to play on the guitar. And so I'm going to leave you tonight with a verse from a song I wrote to my wife, Miss Andrea, a couple years ago on Valentine's Day, just a verse of it. You gotta be so careful here on YouTube because I may get a copyright strike just playing some of those familiar songs. Hopefully, hey, YouTube bots, this is just a demonstration here. The bots that are always cruising YouTube looking for copyright violations. I only play just a little bit of them as a demonstration. This is an original work, so I know I can play this one. This is a song I wrote to my wife, Andrea. I'll leave you with this. I will stay beside you while you're sleeping. I will be here when you rise. I will linger near to remind you that my love for you will never die. As the years pass us by in a moment, let us take time to cherish each day. Let us not forget what we promised, that our love will never fade away. Will you walk close to me through the fire? Will you stay till the darkness goes away? Will you hold my hand till that moment when I breathe my last breath on that day? And that song contains a lot of those little riffs and chord progressions I was just doing. Thank you. I think I got that whole song recorded somewhere here on my YouTube channel. If you feel like it, become a subscriber here on my YouTube channel. Join my legion of subscribers, all 95 of us. And my friends on Quora, now maybe you can put a voice, a face to the writing. You're probably listening to this going, well, Dan doesn't sound a thing like I thought he was. So he doesn't sing or talk like he sounds in his writing. Anyway, nice to put a voice to a face sometimes and a voice to the writing. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. My first riffs on the guitar. Thank you for watching. We'll keep writing more answers on Quora.com and more videos on YouTube. God bless you. May you be blessed. Wherever you are, whatever's going on in your life, I hope you're blessed and happy. And to all my Quora friends, God bless you. Keep reading. I'll keep writing. Have a great night.